Welcome. Well, we're 6 months into our Bitcoin dollar cost average experiment with 26 weekly buys under our belt. And these have been some of the most exciting 6 months in Bitcoin history, with the US presidential elections in November, the inauguration in January, followed by trade wars and increasing geopolitical tensions ever since. The Bitcoin price has been on a wild roller coaster, with the markets oscillating between extreme hype and extreme fear. So now more than ever, you want to stay updated on the best options to preserve and grow your hard-earned wealth. Today, we're going to review 6 months of DCA and compare the performance to other popular assets like stocks, gold, and other crypto. If that sounds good to you, hit the like and let's get started. So just to recap, DCA stands for dollar cost averaging, and that means to buy a fixed dollar amount of Bitcoin at regular intervals, regardless if Bitcoin price is up or down. In our case, we started on September 16th with a seed investment of $200, and we make automatic purchases every Monday of $25 of Bitcoin, whether the price is up or down. We're picking up more Satoshis when the Bitcoin price is cheaper, and we're picking up fewer Satoshis when Bitcoin is at more expensive price. You can set up your own DCA using any major exchange like River or Coinbase that provide for automatic set it and forget it purchase plans. This chart shows the Bitcoin daily price since the start of our experiment on September 16th, with our Monday weekly buys marked by yellow arrows. You can see that with today's price action hovering in the low 80,000 range, most of our weekly buys have been at a higher spot price than today's levels. This table itemizes each of our 26 weekly buys, showing whether we're up or down for each one. Now, as of this Monday, March 17th, Bitcoin spot price was around $83,000, which means that most, in fact, 17 out of our 26 buys were at a spot price greater than this week's levels, meaning that we are sitting at a loss on those. And in fact, we're only up on 9 purchases. But since our first 8 buys were at much lower prices before that post-election spike, overall, we're sitting on a 9.4% gain, or on an annualized basis, that's 19%. Now, let me ask you, what investments can you think of that return greater than 19% annualized? Well, you'll be hard pressed to find some, but let's go ahead and look at some popular comparables. Here's a daily chart going back 6 months comparing Bitcoin to gold, the S&P 500 index, and top stocks. Now, I've included Strategy, formerly MicroStrategy, because they've gained a lot of attention lately, with Michael Saylor transforming it into the largest Bitcoin treasury company with more Bitcoin holdings than any other company and even any world government. A lot of institutions are piling into Strategy, and you might consider it as an additional leverage bet on Bitcoin for your portfolio. Now, remember we said the Bitcoin DCA performance has returned 19% annualized so far. Well, since this chart goes back 6 months, we need double the numbers here to project annualized performance. And we see that there are 3 assets that beat a 19% performance of our Bitcoin DCA. And those are Strategy, which has seen a 250% annualized, Bitcoin lump sum, which has seen 88% annualized, and gold, which has seen a 34% annualized performance. The rest of the S&P 500 and top stocks are all much less than gold. But remember, a chart is more powerful and more instructive the more you zoom out. So let's go back beyond these 6 months to 2 years ago to see how Bitcoin has performed versus the other assets. And in this case, the top dog is Strategy with 1,000% gains. Number 2 place is Nvidia with 357, and in number 3 is Bitcoin with 196%. The rest of the S&P 500 top stocks are all about 2 to 5 times less than Bitcoin. Honorable mention goes to gold with 52% over the past 2 years. Now, this bar chart covers the period since September 16th, and it compares the performance of our Bitcoin DCA portfolio versus a lump sum investment into several alternatives. And by lump sum, I mean if we were to take the total amount that we put into our Bitcoin DCA portfolio and instead made a one-time initial investment on September 16th into one of these other assets. And you can see that Bitcoin DCA has outperformed the S&P 500 and other top stocks, as well as top crypto like Solana and Ethereum, which in fact have negative returns over the period. But Bitcoin DCA underperformed versus Strategy, Bitcoin itself, and gold. Now, clearly a Bitcoin lump sum approach would have been better than Bitcoin DCA spreading our purchases into weekly buys, including near all-time highs with Bitcoin over $100,000, which are now in the red. But we don't have a crystal ball, and it's impossible to time the market tops and bottoms. So it would have been quite risky to go all in with Bitcoin at $58,000 on September 16th. Now, without DCA, many investors get paralyzed when Bitcoin price pumps, thinking that it's too expensive and they miss the boat. And they get paralyzed when Bitcoin price is crashing, thinking that it's going to keep crashing to zero. But the disciplined DCA approach ensures you're always buying more Satoshis when the Bitcoin price is low and fewer Satoshis when Bitcoin is high. It smooths out your risk, letting you sleep better at night while your Bitcoin bags grow. If you missed my video on why now is the time to wake up to Bitcoin, be sure to check it out. I talk about how Bitcoin price behaves in repeated cycles of sideways chop for a period of time, followed by a quick pump to newer high levels. As of today, Bitcoin price has been chopping sideways for about 14 weeks, compared to an average of 17 weeks of sideways chop that we've been seeing so far this bull run. So we fully expect Bitcoin price to pump to a new high level any week now. Depending on your risk tolerance, you might want to make an extra lump sum purchase of Bitcoin in addition to your smaller DCA buys. Of course, the first step in protecting your family's wealth is to always learn more about Bitcoin. If you haven't already, check out my series on why you can't afford to ignore Bitcoin. And when you're ready to buy, check out my buying guide playlist. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like the video, comment below, and share it out to those you care about. Until next time, be wise, be safe, and stack sats.